Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to Lineup Predictions. Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV, where we will be predicting the starting lineup and the bench for Sunday's game, Newcastle United away to Burnley at Turf Moor, the worst Premier League ground in the Premier League, absolute shithole. 15th versus 17th. Major opportunity to try and get out of this relegation battle and suck others in. There's only a 4-point gap between us and Burnley. They're 15th, we're 17th. 33 points for them, 29 for us. In the next few games, this is why I'm so pleased that we actually got a draw against Tottenham. I feel like it was a win. All week I've been talking about the win against Tottenham. Like, it wasn't a win, but it felt like one because I didn't expect anything out of it. And the next 5 games, in no particular order, because I can't remember. I'm sure the first 2 are West Ham and Liverpool. And then after that, it's Leicester, Arsenal, and City. Tough running, very tough running. If we can scrape a couple jammy points against any of them, that's going to be a massive help. Big push towards survival, but I'm not counting my chickens. That's why this game is a must win. 3 points, get to within 1 point of Burnley up in 15th, and we could be safe. Let's say if we can get a jammy point against any of them other 5s. That game against Fulham at the end of the season, if we can beat Sheffield United, we could be safe. But anyway, back to the game on Sunday. It's a noon kickoff, 12 p.m. on Sunday. Start with Burnley's team news. They've got a few doubts. Not anyone that I've read, not that I know anyone certainly ruled out. There's Phil Bardsley, the ex-Mackham, fucking loves playing against Newcastle. He does. He missed the game at the weekend, a 3-2 defeat to Southampton. He should be back. He should be available. I think he was missing due to a bereavement, not due to any injury or COVID or not like that. So he's expected to be back, Phil Bardsley. But a number of doubts in Eric Peters, Robbie Brady, Kevin Long and Ashley Barnes. So a number of potential absentees there for Burnley. But Newcastle, quite a bit to talk about, to be fair. I think probably the biggest talking point is potentially the captain. Jamal Lascelles has a suspected, it hasn't been shown yet, he's due to have some scans, but he's got a suspected stress fracture. Suspected stress fracture in the foot. He's having some further scans. If it's shown to be a suspected stress fracture, that could be his season done. He's ruled out for Sunday for certain, but how long will that fracture keep him out for? Potentially the season, if scans show that it is a fracture. So best of luck to Jamal Lascelles. He's been all right lately. I'll give him some stick, but particularly with the couple of goals that he's got in the last few weeks, the odd decent defensive performance, which is usually his downfall, he's been sound. So with the relegation run-in, losing your captain, whether you like him as a player or not, whether he's a good defender or not, we haven't got a great lot of leadership skills, so to lose Lascelles at this stage in the season could be sticky. But good news, though. I'll get onto some good news before some potentially even bad news. Saint-maximin and Callum Wilson may be back. In fact, should be back. They are available for selection. Whether that means they're going to be in the starting lineup or not is yet to be seen. They've both trained well all week. Saint-maximin got 20 minutes off the bench against Tottenham and actually changed the game. You can tell how much we actually miss him. Like the pace and energy that he brought, particularly in the middle of the park, pushing forward, balls in. Oh, we've missed him so much. So he's probably further along than what Callum Wilson is, as he was last week, of course. Wilson didn't make the squad. Saint-maximin did and got 20 minutes off the bench. So hopefully we can see Saint-maximin in the starting lineup. Callum Wilson, though, will he be in the starting lineup or resort to a position on the bench? Brucey says that he looks well. He looks good. He's been training well all week and he's confident. He's confident in himself. So I think he probably will be in the starting lineup. We'll get into that shortly. I'll run through the starting 11. But yeah, I'm expecting them both to maybe, hopefully start. Federico Fernandez and Kieran Clark are both okay. Last week, Fernandez has been out for a while. He had quite a big injury that kept him out for a good number of weeks, but even before the international break, I think he was on the bench for like 3, maybe even 4 games in a row, unable to get his spot back because Lascelles and Clark held that position down really well. Before the international break, though, really, Clark wasn't really good against Brighton, had probably his worst game of the season, in my opinion, against Brighton. Then we had the international break, and then the game against Tottenham. So Clark dropped to the bench and Fernandez not even to be included. Apparently picked up a late injury. I can't remember what the injury was, but Brucey says now that they're both okay, which is good news to hear with the news about Jamal Lascelles. Fabian Shaw is still out and Isaac Hayden are still out, potentially for the season for them too. We'll see about that one, but especially with Lascelles being out, Clark and Fernandez coming back into it is good timing, crucial timing. A couple of that potential news is Andy Carroll. He has a chance in making the squad. He was another one that didn't get onto the bench against Tottenham, which was somewhat of a surprise because Brucey didn't mention it in his press conference. He says he's had about 2.5 weeks out with an injury. He's got a big training session today. He's probably already had it by the time I filmed this, but we'll not know until Sunday whether he's made it through that well or not. So, yeah, Carroll's a big doubt, maybe in with a chance of a spot on the bench, but that is to be seen. But who probably won't make the bench, which I was very disappointed to see against Tottenham at the weekend, is Ryan Fraser. Picked up a late groin injury, done really, really well. He's probably been in the form he's been in for the past 12 to 18 months. Like before the international break with us, great balls in, actually playing some minutes, looking sharp, great delivery. That's why I love Ryan Fraser. That's why we signed him, for the delivery. He was getting some in, got himself a great assist, was it? I don't think it was Wolves. It was the other one. One of the other 1-1s. Wicked ball in for Lascelles' header. He's upset his groin before the Tottenham game, and Bruce says it hasn't been improved. So he's a major doubt. He's not expected to be risked. So Ryan Fraser drops out of the lineup for the second week in a row. We're getting to the starting 11 then, and we're going to start off in goal, as always, Martin Dubravka. That's it. Don't really need to say much more than that. There's been talk about Caldolo maybe taking his spot back, but Dubravka was brought in to see out the run-in, the more experienced, and definitely the higher quality of goalkeeper. Yeah, he's a little bit shaky since coming back, whereas we never really had any problems with Darlow throughout the season. But yeah, Dubravka keeps his spot. And for me, I'm going to keep the same formation as we played against Tottenham. I'd like to see a bit more attacking, like whether it's 3 at the back, 5 at the back, whatever it is with the wing backs. I don't really like that formation because it can be too negative and way too defensive for me. I don't like that. I preferred the 4-3-3 or even a 4-4-2, whatever we're going to do. But like I said, like the Tottenham game felt like a win, even though it wasn't. But I've always said don't change a winning formation. So I think the formation has got to stick, even though there's going to be quite a few changes with especially Lascelles dropping out. So we're going to go into the back three centre-backs. Clark and Fernandez, they're going to come back in, and Dummett, I'd say, will keep his place. But if it wasn't for Lascelles, as the news just came out this morning that Lascelles would be out, I'd be dropping Dummett. I didn't think he'd had a good game against Tottenham, but someone's got to make up the numbers there. Fernandez and Clark, reliable as always. Big fan of them too. If they can come back into the team, that would be perfect. What I would have had Lascelles have been fit would be Fernandez, Lascelles, and Clark as the back 3, but Kraft's got to drop out. Kraft isn't the answer. Poor game against Tottenham, and he's not everyone's cup of tea. He's like, I'll get stick for defending him, but you know the last few performances haven't really been very defendable. I can't fucking talk today. What's going on? I've got that Friday feeling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Kraft can't really be defended for much longer. As long as Fernandez and Clark are back fit, someone's got to drop out with that team. And for me, that is Kraft. And it would have been Dummett had Lascelles have been fit. But they're the back 3 for now, with Jacob Murphy and Matt Ritchie keeping their spot. Them two, surprised to see, to be fair, when I seen the Tottenham lineup, I was actually foaming. I didn't like the look of it at all. The 5 at the back or 3 at the back, whatever you want to call it, the formation. Ritchie coming in out with a cold, hasn't played in ages. I've wanted to see Murphy start for a long time, but probably not as a wing back, more of an attacking formation with like Dummett and Kraft at centre back and Sean Longstaff in the middle of the field. I didn't like it, but were done well, and them two especially, the formation, the two wing backs in particular, Murphy and Ritchie, outstanding. Great delivery into the box, loads of effort. I think Matt Ritchie, with Lascelles being out now, could be a key player for us staying up. He was unbelievable against Tottenham, and that's why we've always liked Matt Ritchie. Like for the last few years, I've been fairly critical of his performances. When you rate him at the end of a game, can you say, did you make an impact? Or do we just like you because you've got the fucking heart of a lion? He gives 110%. He's always got the passion. And that's what we love about him. But can you afford to keep a player around who doesn't perform? I don't think so. But that Tottenham performance, he performed. He was amazing. And he's got that leadership skills. He's got the heart. He can step up now, especially if Lascelles is going to be out. He could be instrumental in us staying up. And Murphy, with his delivery, unbelievable. Time and time again. He had Region on a plate for most of that Tottenham game, so he's got to keep his place. So that's the back five, if you will, for me. In the middle of the field, Shelvey will be keeping his place. Shelvey really pisses me off game to game. He's frustrating because I know he's got the ability. He's probably one of the most technically gifted players in our squad, but at times he's just lazy. He just doesn't perform like he gives a shit. He just tends to put in like 20 to 30% effort, which is the fucking annoying thing. I think he can be one of the top centre mids in the Premier League on his day, but you just don't say that enough. But we've got limited option at the minute with Isaac Hayden being out, and his partner Sean Longstaff from the Tottenham game will drop to the bench. First half, great. Probably the best 45 minutes we've seen of Sean Longstaff since he broke through. What was that, 2018, 2019 under Rafa? Second half just petered out, absolutely knackered, no energy, stray passes as we've been saying for the last 18 or so months. Not good enough for me, in the long term anyway. But his replacement, Joe Willock, he goes into the starting lineup. When he came on against these North London rivals in Tottenham, he was brilliant. Not only the goal, but especially with Saint-Maximin as well. Them two complemented each other in that pace and energy, as I mentioned before, in the middle of the park. We looked a different team. When them two came on, we were just getting at them more. Like, their defence was so suspect. What's it called? Davinson Sanchez. He was shit. We should have been targeting him more often. Tanganga, young lad at right back. Joe Rodon, another youngster. Region was a doubt, so I don't even know if he was fully fit. That back four was so dodgy. And I thought we played really, really well, but we should have targeted it more. But when Saint-Maximin and Joe Willock came on, difference, that's where we got the point from. What felt like 3 points, Joe Willock's goal, it was the difference, and he's got to play ahead of Sean Longstaff for me. Definitely ahead of Jeff Hendrick, going up against his former team at Turf Moor. Don't want to see him in the team. Jeff or Sean, no chance. Matty hopefully can keep his spot on the bench. I'd like to see him play more, though. Definitely more than Sean and Jeff. But yeah, and I know Shelvey's not going to drop out of the team. He's probably going to be captain as well with Lascelles being out. He's probably going to have the armband. So Shelvey's pretty much set in stone there, and Joe Willock is definitely the best option alongside him, with Matty as the second option for me. And to the front three then, and on the left-hand side, probably not really asked either way, but Saint-Maximin has to come in, take his spot back in the starting 11. He's fit, so there's no reason not to. Brucey says he's been fine all week, got a 20-minute run out, the difference maker in the Tottenham game. He's available. That's the best thing. Against Burnley, he run Burnley riot at St James's earlier in the season. Best performance of the season for me. As a team, maybe not, possibly. It's up there, 100% it's up there, but Saint-Maximin in particular, his individual performance was stunning. And it was after that, he kind of petered off a little bit, didn't he? He signed his contract after that, and he kind of went missing for a fair few games in a row, and COVID hit, and then injuries hit. And I just haven't really seen a performance as good as that really since, but the way he played against them at St James's Park, honestly, he's got to start. Fit, like I say, he's fit, he's available, he's a game changer. He loves playing Burnley. Got to play him. Got to play Saint-Maximin. He's rooted in that starting 11 for me, and I'll be pissed off if he's not. Because like I say, this game is a must win. Got to get these 3 points because the next 5 are going to be very hard to come by. So Saint-Maximin is definitely has to start for me. And on the other side of Saint-Maximin, which may come slightly controversial, but I would keep Joe Linton in. which would mean Almiron dropping to the bench. And I would do this because, well, Brucey loves playing Joe Linton, similar to what he does with Jeff Hendrick and Emil Kraft. Nobody particularly wants to see them in the starting lineup. They're always scapegoated. Kraft and Hendrick, somewhat deserved. But Joe Linton goes unnoticed. His work rate and his effort, it really goes under the radar. It's just swept under the carpet because he might miss a couple of chances. Like, we all know he's not a striker. He's not going to ever be a 10-goal-a-season striker. He's never going to hit double figures. But his work rate, his strength, like holding players off, hold-up play, it's so good. And I think he's in good form now. And I want to see him carry on that after the Tottenham game, because that was one of his best performances to date. Got his goal, so he'll be full of confidence. He was probably our man of the match in player ratings. I think Rennie gave him the highest rating. So I want to see Joe Linton stay. With Almiron, on the other hand, big player. Love Almiron, but in this formation, I'm not Almiron's biggest fan out wide. Like, with Wilson back, potentially, we could put him in the starting lineup and go with more of like a forward three, like we did when Graham Jones first came in, where we had Wilson on the right, Miggy as a false 9, and Saint-Maximin on the left. Maybe, but I don't know. With Wilson coming back, we've got to have a striker there. I don't really want to see Miggy playing as a false 9 or even Dwight Gale starting. If Wilson's back, get him in there, which means Almiron drops to the bench. I just don't think his work rate's been there. He works so hard. He gets back, sticks in tackles and stuff. But I just think his influence, he just failed. Like, especially the Brighton game. Well, he just came back from injury. Probably shouldn't have even played that game, but Brucey chucked him in. It's one of those things. But Tottenham, he had another couple of weeks to get himself sorted after the international break and just didn't influence it that much. I thought Joe Linton was more of an influence. So for that reason, Almiron drops to the bench for me, but he's a fantastic option to bring on. Be like that Saint-Maximin that we had at Tottenham. Bring him on for 20, 30 minutes whenever we need him. He's a fantastic option with great pace and energy and everything to get on and impact the game if we're struggling a bit. So that's it for me. Just keep his legs fresh for the last portion of the game and just try and see how Joe Linton gets on. If he's fucking up, if he's not doing well, change it. Simple as that. Got nothing to lose, really. But as I say, Wilson up front, straight back in the starting lineup, son. Hopefully fit. Obviously, I don't want to just chuck him in at the deep end and risk an injury, but Bruce says he's all right. He looks well and he's confident. So I like the next few games, West Ham and Liverpool are going to be so tough. Wilson, again, against Burnley at St. James's, was brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Couple of goals delivered by Saint-Maximin. Get them both in there. Get them together. Linking up well again. Get some goals. We can definitely score some goals against them. I think if we play this way with Almiron to come on in the second half, it's there for the taking. I really think this team can absolutely do a fucking job on Burnley. Burnley are tricky customers. Brucey fucking Brexit ball. Dicey Brexit ball, I should say. Dicey Brexit ball. Awful to play against. They're a solid team. I think I've seen before that Burnley have conceded the fewest goals at home. I think behind Chelsea, City and somebody else, maybe West Ham. I think that fourth fewest goals conceded at home in the Premier League this season, which is testament to that shithouse football Dicey plays. But it works, and that 15th, just ahead of the relegation zone now. But that's why we need to get this win, just to creep them in just as much as we're trying to push out. I don't know what I was doing there. Sorry about that. The bench. Carl Darlow. Javier Manquillo. I'd like to say Manquillo back in if he's fit. But, of course, with this formation and Murphy having the absolute blinder the other week, he's going to stay at the bench. Kraft can be a right-sided centre-back option if we need one. If Clark and Fernandez aren't fully fit, Kraft's the only really centre-back option we'll have, with Lascelles and Shaw being out. Jamal Lewis keeps his place on the bench because of Matt Ritchie, same as what I just said about Murphy. Jeff Hendrick, Sean Longstaff, and Matty Longstaff to fill up the numbers as nobody else, really. Of course, like Matty is the one that I'd prefer to be in there, but knowing Brucey, he's probably bottom of the list. But due to other injuries, if Carroll can't make it, if Fraser can't make it, then there's a spot open, which goes to Matty Longstaff, with Almiron and Fraser as the attacking option. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Let me know your lineup prediction and score prediction. I've just thought 3-1. That's just come to the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that was the same score at St. James's, wasn't it? I think we took a 1-0 lead. They equalised through Ashley Westwood, and then we went on to score a couple more. So, yeah, I'm going for the same scoreline, 3-1 at Turf Moor. It's going to be tough. Let's say they're pretty good at keeping goals out at Turf Moor, so we might not have it in the locker to score as many as 3, but as long as we get 3 points, couldn't give a shit. That's what it's all about. 3 points, absolutely essential. Come back for the live watch-along on Sunday afternoon, midday. Me and Renty will be here watching along. In fact, no, we won't, because Renty's going to be on his way back from HMP Birmingham. So we're going to have a special guest. I'll be here anyway. I'll be with the watch-along with a special guest. Come back, find out, see who that is, and Renty should be back for the second half. Thanks, everyone. Like, subscribe, and enjoy yourself.